people, the easier for you will be to communicate with them. You need to know what they already know about the issue you're addressing. You need to know what tools they are using. If you, for instance, doing a project for elderly people in your neighborhood, make an announcement for them on Facebook would be really not sufficient. So you need to know if they read newspapers, what media they use. All these type of things are very important. Then once you understand who you are talking to, you need to define your messages and need to understand what you want to say to your audience. So at the very beginning, define your key messages, the hashtags you will use in the social media. In the case of the EU-funded actions, like with these projects, you will need, in all your communications, you will need to also use the visibility tools like the logo of the European Union, the statement of the European Union. We will come back to all these issues later at the stage when we have new fellows. You will have all guidelines and recommendations from us how to use it and when to use it. Then, after you are set with the objectives, you know who your audience is, you know what to talk to them, only then try to choose the proper channels and tools which you are going to use for your communication with the audience. Whether it's you need a website, whether you need a Facebook page, do you engage media, which one, etc. And now it's time to implement the plan and, of course, to measure the impact of your activities. Don't forget about the evaluation. Even in your action proposal, in your project proposal, please mention how you are going to measure your communication activities, how you are going to check if they were achieved and if they were not achieved, what you are going to do in this case. So these are just very basic information about the communication activities and the key steps you need to implement for preparation of the project proposals. And now, Anna, if you just go through the next couple of slides. So just a few examples of what our previous fellows were doing to communicate the results and the progress of their projects. Like we lead Womanship Club from Armenia, or development studios from Ukraine. They created these separate pages on Facebook, which are quite popular now. If you go to the next slide, please. Some photos, also some examples of the promo materials produced by the fellows, like publications, banners, some posters, some how we call it, we lost connection after I finished my presentation, but the last slide was about some examples of the projects implemented by the fellows from the previous call. And here you can see some visibility materials, some visibility banners, publications, posters, and balloons for kids, which you need budget in your proposal when you prepare the budget for the whole action. So that's it. Thank you, Anna. The floor is yours.
I will continue. So, as we mentioned, there are a number of parts that are important. One of them was communication that Elena just finished. So the other parts that would be very important for the assessment of the proposal will be this is follow-up of the action. We would like to see the applications that are not only will be live during the implementation, but also after the implementation of the action. So think how to make your action results sustainable. Keeping some, for example, keeping some activities going on after the completion of the action, or maybe of replication of it, but using maybe resources from other donors or other sources. So this will give you extra points at the evaluation. Organized internship, as we have already mentioned. So from one side, we would like to see that the leadership skills of an applicant are developed. And for the development of these skills, so there might be an option to get some arrangements with organization and for internship or placement, we call it. So if you have this in mind as a part of your application, so you definitely should write why you have decided to choose this or that organization. You have to include a preliminary study plan. What you would like to study, what skills you would like to get during your internship. So this will be very important to see for the evaluation committee, that you well thought how you're going to do this, that you really link the objectives of your action and the results. So make sure that you have this information included if you plan internship. Also about mentor, there are a number of questions about mentor. We do understand that some of the small actions and projects might require additional expertise that you don't have. In this case, it would be nice if you have someone who is experienced in that field to guide you on that issues. So if you feel yourself that you do need a mentor for a certain part of your action, so you can include the information on your mentor, so who you would like to see. Ideally, you should have already a person in mind who will, in case of a vote, so this person will be involved in the implementation. So, but make sure that you define the role of this mentor, at what stage he will be involved, what she will be doing, supporting you in achieving the results of your action. Okay, coming to a very important topic on the budget. Eligibility of costs. Before submission your budget, make sure you double check that your expenses that you included into the budget are eligible. Consult again with the section 5.3 of the guidelines and make sure that you don't include fees for yourself. Because this fellowship, it's not for paying salary for yourself. These are the resources to implement your small project. So you can pay maybe your mentor, you can pay for internship, some kind of small compensation for the time they will be giving to you, but in no way include fees for yourself. It is very important if you can present your budget in a logical way. So you can see here on the slide, for example, you have a number of activities included in your action proposal, and your activities should be linked to the budget. For a selection committee, it will be very easy to see, okay, these are activities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mentioned in your proposal, and these are the costs that you foresee for the implementation of your action. You can see here, so organization of training on something. These are just examples. I don't want you to just copy this completely. You have to budget your activities yourself. but the presentation is, so the organization of training, but what you included for the, what do you need for organization of that training? You need a venue, this is 1.1. You need probably refreshments for the participants. You need prints, you might need some promotional materials, communication materials. This depends on what kind of action, what kind of event you are planning. And presentation of your budget this way would be very welcomed by the selection committee. The budget lines that are given as an example in the guidelines, this is just an example that you think about this or that cost that might occur during the implementation. But this is your responsibility to prepare the budget properly and to budget it according to the activities you will be implementing. I hope it is clear. I would like again to remind, we mentioned, I think, in the guidelines, but don't forget to include into your budget. Taxes. This is a very hot topic, and you have to keep in mind that taxes is your responsibility. We are in no way can advise what kind of taxes a fellow should pay, let's say in Georgia, or should pay in Armenia or Ukraine. You have to check with your country legislation if you have to pay any taxes on the fellowship that you will receive as an individual. Okay, so check it first, make sure, just consult with the revenue, with the tax office, if you have to pay anything. So, and again, I would like to remind, this is your responsibility to prepare the budget that you can implement the action and be a good taxpayer in your country and have a good reputation. Don't forget to include bank charges. So this means, why I'm saying this, when we have an experience when we are transferring fellowship to the Eastern Partnership region, some banks are taking some charges, while taking a certain percentage of the amounts that arrive into your account. We are not in the position just to check with every bank in the region how much are they going to charge. See, so it is your responsibility to check with the bank and include these banking charges into your budget. Visa costs, it might be applicable if you foresee during your action implementation travel abroad. So check the prices, include these prices into the budget. The same is with the insurance. If you need to travel, for example, you have an arranged internship somewhere in Europe and you go there, you need to get a visa. In order to get a visa, you need to get an insurance. So make sure you check the prices for this and include it into the budget. Also, the costs related to the promotion of your action. So this is what Elena was talking before. So don't forget about these costs. While we will not, when you submit your budget and you are successful, you will receive a contract on the amount that you are budgeted. And if you forgot to include any of the costs, no additional money will be given. So you have to complete your action using that amount of money that you received. Now I would like to come to the section, we call it frequently asked questions. We try to sort them out according to the topics, and you can see here the questions itself. And me and Monica probably we will be commenting on this or that question. So age of the applicant. There were a number of questions related on the age. So if you are 18 years, you have to be between 18 and 35 years old on the date of submission of application, and specifically on the 31st of January 2019. If you are turned out 36 on the 2nd of February, you will be still eligible. Does the organization without any previous experience can apply for the fellowship programs? Well, first of all, I would like to point out that this fellowship is for individuals. It's not for organizations. And we will consider applications only from individuals. And individuals will receive contracts. And individuals will receive fellowship, the money to individual account, not to organizational account. So I want to make clear, it's not for organizations, this is for individuals. Okay. Can my current workplace influence my eligibility for this fellowship call? No. Well, it doesn't matter where you work, or you work at all, or maybe you just study, right? It is important that a proposed action is not within the current workplace duties. And it is stated in the guidelines that activities that are normally carried out by the applicants or affiliated entities as part of their usual work. So this means you can't propose an action that will be done as a part of your current duties and responsibilities at your current workplace. So this is the only condition that might apply. Can you please clarify? Could you please clarify this?